Well, hello to all of my queens, and welcome to the Women Major in Marriage podcast with yours truly, Janice Fans. I am so glad that you all are continuing to rock with me on these podcasts. I appreciate you. There's so many platforms out there, but you choose to listen to me, and I appreciate it. And for those of you that are on my podcast platform, if you don't know it, I have a YouTube platform that I started 4 or 5 weeks ago. 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I'm almost at 600 subscribers, but have had over 4,000 um, viewers. And I said to God be the glory because it's not so much the numbers that I'm trying to rage over, more so than knowing that those are actually people, that they're actually individuals that are living, listening to them, and hoping that I'm pouring something of value into them. We all in this together. I'm learning too, as well as you. As you know, this platform is not just for married women, although it's women majoring in marriage. It's for those that desire to be married, and maybe they can pick up a few tips. It's for those who are married, that marriage just might be um just want to thrive in marriage, want to learn more. That's where I am. Want to learn more because we're never where we have learned too much, no matter how long you've been married. So I just want to thank you. I thank you if you're watching via YouTube. I thank you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can follow me for more great content every week on YouTube and then on the podcast. I do the podcast twice a month, but on YouTube, I'm feeling my way and I'm trying to learn my way and see what people are looking for, what people like, and praying about what to talk about. So I don't have a set pattern as to once a week or twice a week. I'm just posting as I feel led to. So if you're listening via podcast and you haven't joined me on YouTube, I post more things on YouTube than on podcast. So follow me. I greatly appreciate it. And I just want to welcome you all to the fall season. I don't know about you, but this is my favorite time of the year. I love the fall season, which is why I chose to get married in September because I just love the fall. And Queens, on September 30th, your girl will be celebrating 46 years of marriage. Married 46 years to my junior high school sweetheart. And I thank God more and more the older I get, I can appreciate more of my marriage. And I was just telling my sister today, I was like, it's something when you grow old together. It She said, that's a blessing. I said, yeah, it really is when you see each other grow old together. Like, what's hurting you today? What's hurting me today? But nevertheless, God is still good, and I thank God for that. And in 2 days, we'll be leave. Well, when you hear this, it'll be Wednesday. That Thursday, we'll be in Costa Rica celebrating our 46th wedding anniversary. And I said, to God be the glory, to God be the glory. So I'm trying to get my content out because when I go on vacation, although I'm a travel agent, I'm not one to just put the camera. I don't like being on camera anyway. That's why I can't believe when I started doing these podcasts. But anyway, you won't be hearing a whole lot from me because I like to just soak up and enjoy the time. Even though I'm a travel agent, I do like to put out there so people know what's available. But you just won't be seeing me going all live and all that. But anyway, ladies, thank you so much for continuing to rock with me. And today, a subject that I'm talking about is so near and dear to my heart. And you'll see me looking down because I have to look at these dates sometime. The subject I'm chosen to talk about is, which I was going to do last month because that would have been the anniversary for this particular time, is when the marriage vows in sickness and in health has been challenged. When the marriage vows in sickness and in health has been challenged, that's my subject. And that is my testimony. Because well, 5 years ago, on August the 5th, 2019, I was admitted into the hospital to have a surgery that were be 4 days to recuperate, get out after 4 days, go to the rehab, stay in the rehab 21 days, leave the rehab, and go home. Well, it didn't really happen that way. I went into the hospital on August the 5th, got out of the hospital on August the 9th. As planned, as the doctor had told me, I got out on and within my 4 days. I went to the rehab, and one morning I woke up after being in the rehab to get my water jug off of my tray. When I reached for that water jug, a pain hit me in my chest. The pain hit me so hard in my chest, but for some reason, God didn't allow me to panic. He didn't allow me to, I don't know why, to get nervous or what. I reached for my call button. I looked and could see it, but couldn't reach it. I had a ruptured disc, and they had to go in and do surgery. And the doctor told me how painful it was going to be, but I never imagined that surgery being that painful. Imagine the bones, muscles in your neck, so you can't hardly turn. I couldn't reach the call, but the door was shut. And by the pain being so severe, I could only whisper, nurse, nurse, nurse. And a tech heard me, came in the room, and I said, could you please get my nurse? I have had a pain to hit me in my chest. She went to get the nurse. Nurse came back. She and the nurse came back. The nurse came back in a panic, trying to give me pain medicine. I'm telling her, no, it has nothing to do with my surgery. Something has happened to my heart. She was like, sit up, do this. I said, I can't. You heard me, you heard me. She was trying to do everything, but I said, could you go call 911? She was, let me sit your bed, let me do. I was like, I'm hurting, call now. It's my chest. I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with my neck. She would not go get me in help, call for an ambulance or anything. I told the tech, I said, get my phone and call my husband and tell my husband to get over here. Something has happened to my heart. The nurse, the tech asked me for his number. I could not remember his number. And I said, look in the phone for Bay, because that's what we call each other, Bay. And she was scrolling by that time. I said, no, don't call him. Dial 911. Dial 911. And the nurse told her, do not call 911 from her phone. We cannot call 911 from a patient phone. I said, well, pick up the phone in the room and call 911. She left out to go call and left me in the room with the tech. And I remember this day, it was 5 years ago in August, 5 years ago. I remember so clearly before the pandemic and everything. She went to call 911, left me in the room with the tech, and I told the tech by this time my chest is like something sitting in it. The the tech said, I told the tech, I said, come close, because my voice was getting weak. When she got close to me, I said, will you tell my family that I died? I said, tell my family I died. They're gonna be wondering what happened. Make sure they know it was my heart and nothing with my neck surgery. It was my heart. I remember the look in her eyes and tears was coming down her face. And she said, okay. I said, my husband just left here late last night because we stay up late. So they were letting him stay late at the rehab. He couldn't spend the night. At the hospital, he could spend the night. But at the rehab, he could not. And I said, he just left late last night. It was probably 11 o'clock. And I said, he's going to be wondering because I was fine. She said, okay. By that time, there was a cloak, a curtain, a white curtain, and it was before me, and it was like a stage. And the curtain began to close up, just close in slow motion, slow motion. I said to her 3 times, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. I said that 3 times. That's all I remember. I don't remember the nurse coming back in. I don't remember anything. My husband said that the facility called him and said, "Oh, another significant thing. It was 5:50 in the morning. You might ask how I know the exact time because when I woke up, I looked at the clock. It said 5:50. Then I reached to get my cup. And the reason I know it was 5:50 because that was the first night I had slept all night without hurting. This particular night, I slept all night. And when I woke up to get my cup, a pain had hit me. When I told her I was dying those 3 times, I saw the white curtain just close up before me, just closing and slow mo closing up before me. And I was looking at it as if I was on stage. Said I'm dying 3 times. My husband said that the facility called to say, meet the paramedics at the hospital. Your wife has coded. He called. We have 2 children. He called both of them, and they all came over and went to the hospital. When they got to the hospital, from my understanding, they were not there with me yet. And I found out after 2 days, I was on the ventilator that was breathing 100% for me. 100% for me, the ventilator. And God is good. God is good that I'm able to be here to share this testimony, because it is truly a testimony. And when I did come off the ventilator, I was in critical ICU, and I remember waking up, looking around, and I could tell that I was in a hospital facility because when you're in ICU, they have you right across from the nurses. So I could see the nurse station, and I'm looking like, where am I? Nobody's in the room with me. So the nurse was a male nurse. He saw me moving and looking, came in the room. I said, where am I? He said, you're in critical ICU. I said to him, I said, I died, didn't I? All he said was, how did you know? I said, I remember telling the nurse. I said, if I remember clearly, it looked like I was telling the nurse that I was dying. I couldn't get all my thoughts together because everything was so vague. I said, I was telling the nurse, but I don't know where I was at. I was telling the nurse that I was dying. I saw myself die. He said, you've been on the ventilator. I said, where's my family? I said, where's my husband? He said, we're going to call and let them know that you're away. He said, we have certain visiting hours, and you are loved. You have been surrounded by many people, so many people these days that you've been here round the clock. He said, even when visiting hour was over, people was waiting to the next visiting hour. So I just thank God for my family. I thank God for my husband. They came up there. I was, it still was, thing was cloudy, but I can remember some things. But when I came to myself and I started thinking, the first thing came to my mind, I said, God, I thank you. You allowed me to live for a reason. You're not through with me yet. You have a purpose for me. Whatever that purpose is, God, show me. Lead me. Don't let me do nothing for self, trying to impress people or do things outside your will. I want you to guide me every step of the way. That's why I do these platforms, because these are things that he had laid on my heart about marriage, about marriage, about marriage. And I began to have a soul search point. I said, God, did I have any unforgiveness in my heart? Trying to think, have I made anybody mad? Was I angry? Was it my husband and I in a good place? Did we tell each other I love him? I was like, yeah, we said we love each other. Before he left, he told me he loved me. I started thinking about these things. I'm going to tell you right now, you never know what death is, and everybody might not get that chance, and everybody haven't had that chance to come back off a ventilator and be in a right mind. But God allowed me, and for that I am forever, forever grateful. I began to soul search, and I was like, Lord, I don't know anybody I angry. I can't think. I was like, God, I'm so glad you allowed me to live to see my grandchildren grow up. Uh, and that's another story about my husband and I couldn't having a hard time having children, had miscarriage after miscarriage. And I can remember praying, Lord, when he blessed us with our child, I said, let me live to see my children get grown. And then look like they got grown so fast. I said, Lord, let me live to see my grandchildren. And so I began to say, Lord, let me live to see my great grandchildren. And I'm just grateful to God for allowing me to be obedient, obedient, obedient. When the doctor came in my room, the doctor came in my room. It's a female doctor. This after I've been taken out of ICU and moved to the floor. And she came in. She said, Miss Vance. I said, yes. She said, can I hold your hand? And I said, yes. She said, you know you're a miracle, right? I said, yes, I know. I'm a believer. She said, I say that for two reasons. She said, God allowed you to come off of the ventilator. She said, a lot of people don't make it. She said, in the second miracle, sometimes when they come off that ventilator, they brain dead. She said, you're a miracle. I said, I know. I am a walking miracle. If you're watching this video, whether it's podcast or YouTube, you are looking at a walking miracle. I don't look like what I've been through. When being on that ventilator is it strengthened all your energy, all your strength, all your muscles. I could not even take the top of toothpaste. My husband, and while I was in the hospital, they had to do everything for me. Imagine being in a place that you never thought you would be at, or a place that at your age you think, oh, that's somebody got to take care of somebody. That's for the elderly people. My husband was there every step of the way. He would spend the night, get up, make sure that I'm clean, my teeth fresh, doing whatever he can for me, make sure I done ate that breakfast, go home, get a shower, try to get a rest, because you don't get no rest in the hospital. They in and out of the room. And every time they walk in and out of the room, he'd sit up and he would leave and go home. He was there every step of the way. And the reason I titled this as when the marriage vow in sickness and in health has been challenged, because when we get married and we say I do to those things that we never think that we happily say I do to those things that we would have thought of never would have thought of that we'd be challenged. Or if we thought we was going to be challenged in it, oh, it's going to be after we'd have been married 75 years. Oh, it's going to be way down the line in sickness and in health when our health fail or we are challenged. No, it can happen any day. And those marriage vows will be challenged. And you'll know if it's for the faint at heart. Got out the hospital, went home with home health care. People coming to the house, and I'm being on the therapy coming out, walking me. And I went home and I said, I remember when we pulled up to the house, and I barely could walk, barely could just we just didn't have the muscles to walk. Hands couldn't hardly hold anything in my hand. And I said, this sickness right here is not unto death. This sickness is not unto death. Y'all see me looking down because I'm making sure that I'm recording. I said, this sickness is not unto death. I'm not going to be like this. I was on a walker, having to use a walker. They would come to the house. We're just going to walk. We're just going to walk outside the bedroom. We're going to just walk to this door. Every time they came, I would say, let's try to go a little further. Then it's like, you want to go up into the family room? You go in the den? Yeah, take me there. Bring me back. I would be so tired. I kept saying I'm gonna do whatever they tell me because I'm not getting ready. I got grandchildren. We gotta have a good time. I am not. I love to go. I love to try. I'm not finna be stuck on a walker. I am not finna be stuck with somebody have to open my water bottle, put toothpaste on my toothbrush, put my earrings on. I thank God for my husband. I was like, oh God, he had something on his hand. I was not mean to him, but I know I'm real particular about things. I'm real particular. My room had to be clean. Everything had to be in place. I didn't want stuff everywhere. I wanted my linen changed so many times. And those things I didn't even ask, but my husband did. I didn't even say that because he'd been with me long enough to know how I am. He been with me. He know how I am. I like everything clean, everything organized, and he did those things, and I appreciate him so much for that. So your marriage vow being challenged, that's not the only vow we say I do to better, worse. Guess what we say? We hardly hear what the preacher's saying. What I say, I do. We saying I do to those things that we never ever thought that we would be challenged with. We say I do because we're not thinking about it. We so happily and in love and ready to get married. But are you ready for those challenges? Are you ready for those different seasons that you would go through in marriage? In marriage, there will be some seasons, honey. It will be fall outside, but in your house, it might be summer. It might be hot up in there. Are you ready to go through the challenge? A lot of people want to give up so easily. People are giving up on their marriage. They taking marriage lightly. They don't care. The single folks dying for a husband, ready to be married, want to be married. The married folks ready to get rid of their husband, or they just living like roommates and just don't care. Marriage is sacred. Marriage is a covenant. Marriage is a covenant. It is a covenant. And I thank God for my marriage. I thank God for a thriving marriage. I thank God for just want to take my marriage to the next level. I always want to grow. Don't think that I have arrived. Been married almost 46 years. You'd think we would have some kind of gold medal. No, we're still learning because we are not the same people that we were when we married. We're not the same people. We're older. And we're in different seasons in our life. You'll be in a season where one, you're focusing on your career, you're focusing on your family, you're focusing on your dreams and learning the budget. Then you, after a while, before you know it, your parents are like children. You get the children up, and then your parents are sick. You got to see them, and then some of us, as for me, you have to see your parents uh, die, something that you never can imagine. You never can imagine, even though those are your parents, them all your life. You just can't imagine life without them. But guess what? It happens. It happens. So there are so many different seasons in those when you're saying those marriage vows, for better or worse. Let us not take our spouse for granted. Let us not take our family for granted. Let us love on our family. Let us not go to bed angry. Let us not have unforgiveness in our heart. Because just like this, there's one thing I have learned just how quick, just as quick as the breath that you breathe, you can be gone. I was gone and just that quick gone. Didn't know I was in the world. Didn't know who was in there to see me. People came to see me. A bunch of people came to see me. You don't even know. You just laying up there, folks coming up there, and you got a tube in you. You on a ventilator, a machine that's constantly breathing for you. How many know when it's not your time and God got something for you? Can't nobody take that away from you. Can't nobody take that away from you. I thank God for praying husband. I know y'all say I'm saying, but I'm not just saying this. One thing I know for sure, and two things for certain. I got a praying husband. And he ain't just not start praying. You can ask our children how he would get them up in the morning to pray before they go to school. How he prayed over us. Prayed before I went to work. Prayed over us. And I thank God for that. I thank God for that. And I'm forever grateful. I thank God for my church family. How the day before I had her surgery that Monday, that Sunday, I went to a our pastor's wife birthday celebration. And I remember specifically when my pastor walked over to my table because he knew I had surgery the next day. And he said, I want to pray for you. And he laid hand and he prayed for me. But one thing specific that I remember, and you know how something you feel a little something about something. I said to myself, I hope I ain't getting ready to die. He looked at me, he said, daughter, mm-mm-mm. Daughter, all is well. All is well. I felt like for some reason I had to go through something. But I thought it was that it was gonna be that pain, which there was something. That pain was no joke. And I was like, when he said it, I felt that anointing. I felt God answering prayers. I felt all was gonna be well. But then on the other hand, the devil fight you like some ain't right, some ain't gonna be right. I had a little feeling of something. So that way I knew how to pray. I prayed over the doctors, the anesthesia, I prayed over everybody. But exactly what he said, all was well. It wasn't well that very second, but what I had to go through, God brought me through it. Couldn't drive a car because I couldn't barely turn my neck. I'm still limited to turning my neck. I still know every day that I've had this surgery because my neck is stiff, and when the weather get a certain cold rain or whatever, my neck throbs. But guess what? I'm still here. And for that, I am grateful. So, married ladies, I hope somebody able to get something out of this, whether you're married or whether you're single, whether you're individual. Even if you're a man, I know that this is for women, my platform, but it's something you can take away if it ain't nothing but, hey, life is short. Whatever you're gonna do it. Don't take your goals and your dreams to your grave. After that, and God got me through that, God began to deal with me about a book, and I kept ignoring it and ignoring it and ignoring. I promise it was just as clear as can be. And there's not many times. I'm not saying that God doesn't speak, because I know He's speaking His word. He speaks out of voice. He speaks through people. But there's only a few times that I can say it was like I could just hear so clear a book, a book. And I kept saying, now that I don't think the devil will be telling me this. I was like, God is this you? He kept just dealing with me about a book. And I just ignored it. I'm in a mastermind class being coached. And there were people that are already one time authors, twice authors, or whatever, had written books. Our coach had a toolkit of something about book writing. And I remember I never looked at that. It was in there, it was in that toolkit because I never wanted to be an author. So I didn't have any notes and didn't know anything. But God began to deal with me. My sister-in-law died right at when the pandemic was bad. The pandemic had just started because when it was time for her funeral, um, it was only limited people that could come into the church. We left the hospital after she had passed, and God dealt with me in that car because I saw just how quick she was gone. I could not believe. I just couldn't believe she was gone that quick. She was just gone. And I went to her. We went to her house. I took my computer, my laptop out, and I said, God, you dealing with me about a book. I said, Brenda is gone, and you dealing with me today about stop putting your dreams off. And I was like, that's not a dream of mine. And he began to let me know your dream is to inspire women. That's your dream. But I'm going to use that book for the masses. I got that computer out. I said, God, give me a title. Give me a title. God allowed me to write this book. Now I read my book all the time. Y'all see my little notes. Let me see. God allowed me to write that book, Women Majoring in Marriage. And then up under it, Mastering the Seasons of Marriage. Mastering the Season of Marriage. And I began to write my book. And my goal then, that was in March. And my goal then, I started on my book, I think in April. All I did was a title. Didn't know where to start. Got on Facebook, saw a young lady, Candace B. Wood, who had been my accountability partner. We was in coaching together. We was placed as accountability partner, and we were sharing our goals and dreams and encouraging each other. And she had this book writing lab. And I saw it and I said, that's where I need to be. I contacted her, I got in that group, and she had all the tools and strategies for writing a book from beginning to end. When I got in there, I already had some chapters because God would give them to me and I would write them down. And He'd give me little notes and I would write them down. And I contacted her and I said, I want to write my book, but I want my book to be available on November the 20th, my birthday. My book was published on November the 20th that year of my birthday. I wrote my book in the midst of the pandemic. I thought about what the late Miles Monroe said. He said, so many people take, no, he said, the richest place is the grave. He said, because there's so many goals, so many dreams lying out there in the grave. And I said, Lord, I don't want my dream. I want to die empty. I don't want my dream, carry my dreams with me. Today, I am grateful for the platform that he has allowed me. I'm very, very grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the support and the women because I know I can't do it alone. I can't do it alone. And it's not about me. And that's why I get people on my platform, people that are doing different things. I said, post in my group so people know what you want to do. I'm not one trying to hold back on anything or scared you're going to get something for me or you're going to have more. It's enough room out there for all of us, for all of us. That's why I try to support whatever someone is doing. Post it in my group. I have a Facebook group, Women Majoring in Their Marriage. Let women know where they can find your book. Let people know where they can find your services. Let people know because there's so much information out there. And then some of us, we want to keep it all to ourselves. No, don't get on my group saying you do this or you offer. I'm not like that. I want people to know. I want people to, I'm too old to be around here worried about if somebody gonna get one of my clients. No, I celebrate all the women. I thank God for the women. You know, we as women, we can get a whole lot done. But ladies, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, if you're watching me on YouTube, to like, subscribe. Why don't you leave me a comment and just let me know what was the takeaway? I would love to know what was the takeaway for you for this particular video. Those of you on YouTube, thank you so much. And if you're not a part of the platform, Facebook platform, I would love for you to come over. I would love to have you over there. And then, ladies, if you're listening to this and you have a coaching business and you're helping people thrive, you have an insurance company, a travel company. I do traveling. But if you want to advertise, you might be in another level of travel. You might be in the where you recruit people. I don't do that. I don't do the recruit. I just sell travel. But if you want to recruit, hop in the group. I'm fine. I want to build you. I want to see you not take your goals and your dreams to your grave. Lady, that's it. That's it. I love you with the love of God. Always try to leave a person better than you found them. I always try to leave a person better than you found. Wives, if you haven't faced the vow in sickness and health, I'm sure there's other rich and poor. You know, rich and poor, you said I do to that one now. Don't forget. You said sickness and health. You said better and worse. Said to death do your part. All of those things. You never know which one that you might be challenged with. I thank you and I love you.